What's going on, everyone? Carlos here, Disney World Freak. It is Saturday morning. It is another interview Saturday. It is weekend wake up. Let's get to know them. Sorry, my son interrupted me. Let's get to know them. I meant to ask them something when I was talking to them off stream, so I'm going to screw this up. I know I am, but we're going to get to it in a second when I'm going to screw up. First, a shout out to Dean at The Live Place, theliveplace.com, home to all the family-friendly streamers on YouTube. Go check out The Live Place for your TV guide to all the family-friendly streamers. Check out also Dean on YouTube, The Live Place. Great content he's got out there. Go check him out. My partner channels, we're going to get through this quick because I want to get to my guests. Partner channel, Saturday Night Discussions. They will be live today, 3 p.m. my time, Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. UK time. Go check out them. They'll be talking about Florida foods, and there is a bunch of news out of Disney World they're going to get into, so go check them out. My other partner channel, who will be live right after me at 11 o'clock, This Our Dreams, Jeff and Angela will be live from Disney Springs this morning with some special guests. Some people, friends of the community, are down there. She just had a birthday yesterday, so they'll be celebrating with her today. Cherie, Surfer Girl, is down there, so go check out This Our Dreams once we're done. And my other partner channel, my great friend, Pete McDevitt, who was live yesterday, finally back home. Long road ahead. So, but he was live yesterday. We get to hang out a little bit with him. He told a story. So go back and watch it. If you want to know what's going on with Pete, go back and watch that last night. Please do. And if you'd like to see, again, he's going to need a lot of help. Bills pile up. So if you'd like to, it's in the pinned comment, my GoFundMe. You've heard about it. Donate if you can. If you can't, no worries. Share it out. Say a prayer. It's all appreciated. And I've set my challenge, reach $5,000 on that GoFund, and I would jump into this ocean. If I could show you a picture of what I see outside, I see about a foot of snow. So if you want to see me suffer and jump into cold water, hey, donate. Let's get over $5,000. Yes, I am going to pull up this banner. I want to pull up that banner before I even bring them in. Let's do this. Let's bring in my guest right now because I know I'm screwing up a couple of things. But it is Darren. It is Rob. Or it is Rob. It is Darren. It is. Let me try this. It is. I got made fun of the other day by Gas on the Kershaw's Adventures. Again, New England accent. So let's hold on. Is it Aussie Robbo or is it Rabu?
Aussie Robbo.
It is Robbo. See, Gaz, you made fun of me. I didn't say Robbo. See? Bastard. It is Aussie Robbo.
Say Robo.
Aussie Robbo and the English gent. It is Rob. It is Darren. I was telling them off, look, see, here's the standard. I'm a fanboy. I love what they're doing. I've been looking forward to this interview for a long, long time. Gentlemen, good afternoon, because it is not morning.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
It is morning to
good
us.
Afternoon, good morning. Good day. Hello there.
Right, good day, good anything. Thank you for doing this. Before we even get going, I'd like to welcome in my chat because I got a list of questions, and I know there's a lot of people here. A couple of people sent in questions, and already I will try to ask. I don't know if it's proper to ask, but we'll ask him. Roscoe Mothership. Amory, welcome in. How are you? Look at these gents in my chat. I love that. I'm going to Polish. I got to snap that. Great British Mickey Waffle, welcome in. Catherine Wilby, hello, dear. How are you? Baker family, who will also be my guest coming up in a few weeks. Thank you for coming in. So is Ian, Narrative Escapes. Welcome in. Francisco, all the way from California, up nice and early with us. Welcome in, my friend. Disney Andy, what's going on? Neil P, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for being here. Dennis Algazi, hello, popping in for a minute. My Saturday, chat. My Saturday appointment at this hour is delayed. Hello to all. Dennis, thanks for popping in. Dennis is in Greece. We got people from Greece. We got California. Wow. We got everybody. We got Jeff Rezendes, who is literally right across that river. Welcome in, my friend. Theme Park Baza, again,
Oh, I
pronunciation.
made it.
Barry, what is going on? Barry's also going to be my guest real soon.
Florida twin.
I have caught up to chat. 15 wonderful people right now watching. We'll share it out. Let's get everybody in here to check out these guys. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. The banner is up. Yes, banner is up. Okay, gentlemen, tell us a little bit about yourselves, about you two. You have 452 subscribers. Congrats getting over 450.
Thank you.
I know you guys had put that on Twitter. I made sure to share that out. 452 right now with 80 videos, which tells me you are not self-facades. You're doing it right. You're growing organically. On Instagram, and you can see all the socials right there below, 528 followers. And on Twitter, 370 followers on Twitter. Tell us a little bit about Darren and Rob, please.
Well, I'm originally from Nottingham in the Midlands, so sort of central England. And I met this guy 7 years ago last week.
That's right. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, and it's been a really good ride up to this point. We moved in together in 2015. In central London, and it was a huge change for me. You're already living here as a student. And then we started thinking about what we wanted to do in London. And over the last few years, that's what we've essentially done, is try to figure out how to get the most out of central London. And we decided to do this at the beginning of COVID and the lockdowns. We started the channel, within COVID itself. So it wasn't the best start, but...
Yeah, I mean, all the videos were taken in November when we started the channel, but I think, because I do all the editing, so he doesn't know how to do any editing whatsoever. So I do all the editing.
I got to... Oh, great. Let's cross off that question.
I just bring it up. Oh, sorry.
I said, let me cross off that question. We already beat me there.
Yeah, so we took all the footage in the trip at November, and then I got back and I got straight back to work, and I was quite tired and, doing the working stuff. And then I think I avoided starting to do the edit because the footage wasn't that great in terms of what we'd taken. We didn't do a lot. We were quite nervous talking to camera, especially initially. So there was that apprehension. And so I had to edit around a lot of stuff to put stuff together because there was just, there wasn't a huge amount of us talking to camera, especially in the beginning. So that's why we did the footage in November, and we didn't start the channel properly until about March or so, I believe.
Yeah, March last year. And the idea was to start doing our love of sci-fi, especially Star Wars, Disney, collecting, being out and about, whether it be central London or elsewhere, parks in the UK. And then the US, we were originally supposed to go back to the US last year. And things happen. But actually, in a weird way, it's helped us learn on a different direction. We've taken us a different direction. We've had to think more on our feet about what we're going to present. If we've not got parks to rely on,
right,
then we need to think about other stuff that takes our interest. And today's episode we put out this morning, that kind of encapsulates quite a lot of what we do. It's got being out and about. Finally, it was nice to get out.
Go for a walk along the London Tower Bridge
and along the Thames, which is like a sort of 20-minute walk from where we live. And then it's got a bit of that collection, my collection addiction in there.
Well, let's not jump the gun. There's a lot of questions you guys are
getting. Yeah, so we're covering all our loves. So filmmaking, collecting, etc. Yeah, but Disney and Star Wars is a big part of all that. So.
We're gonna get into all of that. Wow, I can just throw this paper out right now because you a lot.
Talk, say or anything, yeah.
Tom Baker, welcome in. This man has not missed the stream in God so long. Tom Baker, he is from across the pond as well. Tom, thanks for being here, buddy. Dennis is West Central. Yes, in Covent Exile in Greece. That's where he's at. Let me ask you this one because I put a number 2 here. What made you decide to start a YouTube channel?
I think when we were planning for the last Florida trip, which was in 2019 November, we started watching a lot of videos just to get information about hotels, about rides. So you're kind of learning before you go. And then we started to enjoy watching people a lot more. And then we kind of thought, well, we can do this. And then I started looking at a GoPro camera, and the new GoPro 8 was coming out around that time, right before we took off. And so I was watching it, and then I just pulled the trigger. And it literally arrived a week before we took off. So I had to learn how to use it, and then we just used our iPhones as well, which were quite basic back then, especially as well. But it was just, yeah. And then we just thought we'd just start recording when we get over there. There was no plan. There was no, we need to do this, that, and the other. We just kind of
No plan whatsoever.
Yeah.
Did you did you have any inspiration channels? Like, I know you said you were watching some channels on YouTube and you said, hey, we can do this. That's what I did too. I said, if somebody else can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
But did you have any inspiration channels? People you were watching a lot of, people you like? You can shout them out. I don't know,
Yeah, I would say, God, I mean, Tim Tracker. We were introduced to Tim Tracker on our first visit in 2000.
I was going to say anybody but Tim, because I'm sick
No,
of
but
Tim.
I think he was literally our.
Yeah.
We had friends who we went with from Canada, Walt Disney World, and they basically sort of said, "You must start watching YouTubers who are in Disney," and he was like the first one.
Yeah, of course.
But in the last year or two, it'd be Ordinary Adventures. They're California-based, Kitcher and Petra, who are down in California, who cover a lot of Disneyland. They've been a huge influence for our kind of what we want to put across style-wise, editing-wise.
I think, especially before we started, our videos, we were all over the place watching different videos because we were searching for like this hotel or this ride.
Right.
So we weren't. I mean, Tim Tracker, I think, was one of the only ones we were regularly following. Disney Food Blog, but then since we've got back and started our channel, we've started following a lot more individual channels like Oh Bother and
Yep.
Oh gosh, it's like it's the old guy.
There's a whole list of them that we kind of just follow now because of just getting into the community, I guess.
Yes.
But we didn't have regular ones we followed before that. It was just more, we're just going to search for this stuff so we can kind of do our investigation before the trip. And then it just kind of organically followed that we kind of started following certain people based on who we liked and the personalities. And yeah.
When, speaking about trips, how many times have you been to Disney World, together or separate?
It's always been together. Our first time was together. So that was 2017, April. Okay. And we came over, which also timed with Star Wars Celebration because we're big Star Wars fans.
Yeah, really?
We did Star Wars Celebration the year before in London. And so you saw the dates were kind of coming up in April. So we timed the whole trip together. So we got to Florida. It was 3 or 4. We went to Universal for a couple of days, then did Star Wars Celebration for that whole weekend.
Yeah.
And then we hit the Disney parks right after Celebration. Yeah.
So 2017 and 2019, so twice?
So no, 3 times.
3 times.
So we went twice we went twice in the first year.
Yeah. So later that year, in December, we went again for a week. And then
Christmas, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then it was 2 years later in 2019. We were supposed to go to Florida last year, but that obviously went out the window. We went to Paris instead. Yeah.
Do you guys have any? I just want to get into the Disney parks, not Disney parks, but Disney World trips for a second. Do you have any traditions? I know you've only been 3 times, so it's kind of hard to get to get a perspective of a tradition. But is there something that you have done every trip, and that you would tell yourself that we're going to do this every trip here on out?
Yeah. So our very first trip, we went with friends from Canada who've been going for years. They love it. It was like our own little tour guides, and they told us all the little ins and outs and things that you miss if you're just going as an average everyday person.
Where all the cameras are on the right.
Yeah, where all the cameras are and all that kind of but yeah, so we were there in, I think Hollywood Studios was our first park. Yeah, Hollywood Studios was our very first park, and we went for a Star Wars event in Hollywood Studios. This was before Galaxy's Edge opened.
Right. And
so it was a special ticketed event. I'd waited for like 40 plus years to go to Disney World. This is how I was in tears all the way through the first part of like Hollywood Studios down the stretch, and then going up to the Tower of Terror. And Tower of Terror became our first ride.
Nice.
And ever since then, we do Tower of Terror first. We always we love it anyway, but we love that whole walk down there and the atmosphere. And then now we've added to that going for a drink at Ogre's Cantina and Galaxy's Edge is being another one that's up there.
That only makes sense with the way you guys are Star Wars freaks. Yeah. To use my term, Star Wars freaks. So we'll get into that in a second. But I want to welcome in Broadway's Away. Welcome in
Hey, bro.
Pete and Pippa, thank you for being here. Andy and Cheryl, thank you for being here. Anybody any questions for these two gentlemen? Pop them into the chat. I'll try to get to them. I got my own full list, but we will try to get to questions in the chat as well. I jumped around somewhere. Oh, you mentioned Tower of Terror, and I want to throw this out there. Again, just to bring up Pete McDevitt and the fundraisers, and Mouse Talk has his own GoFundMe. Tomorrow, he is riding Tower of Terror at least twice. If the people that don't know, the man is petrified. The man is afraid of heights, the fear of falling. It's a true fear. You're pointing yourself too, but well, he really hates. I don't want to use. He's very petrified, but because of the GoFundMe and the challenge he put out there, he's going to ride it twice. If he has 1,000 people watching live, he's come close. He's been up to about 700. He will ride it a third time. So we have a chance tomorrow of watching Walt pass out on stream and somebody carrying him out of the park. So just I wanted to throw that out there. If you guys
we'll be
tomorrow,
there. Yeah.
He'll be live tomorrow from Hollywood Studios at 10 a.m. our time. And God knows when he's going to ride it, when he's actually going to get his feet wet. But I just wanted to throw that out there because you mentioned Tower of Terror. What was your, because you said just now 40 years you waited to get to Disney World. So to me, that tells me the love for Disney itself.
What
is it?
That he's really old?
No, not one bit. Well, I'm sure I look a lot older, and I don't know if I am, but we'll talk about that off stream. What was your first remembrance of Disney itself? Not the parks, but Disney.
Do you want me to go?
You go first.
Animation, just from as long as I can remember, I drew and drew and drew, and I initially wanted to be an animator when I was in my teens. I studied the artists of all the films. So I had books like throughout my childhood, like big coffee table books of artwork and info, and that has never stopped. I've carried that all through my life. I may not be an animator, but I still do illustration, and that is the main thing that caused that. And Disney was it for me. I guess a reason why I didn't go until I was in my 40s was because I just chose the wrong people to be with, so, who weren't open to it, who weren't kind of just didn't get it. And this guy kind of gets it. So,
Disney. For me, Disney. It started when I was in Australia. I grew up in a small town until I was about 10 years old, and we had a video store because it's back in the days when video had just come out. And we used to get these Disney videos. And for me, the recollection of these Disney videos was a collection of bits. So it was like you'd have certain cartoons, like short cartoons. Then you'd have my memory is certain scenes where it's like Winnie the Pooh, but they were in like full-size suits. I don't know if that was a thing. Was that a thing?
Yeah, it's Pooh Corner. Yeah.
So it was a collection of all these different shorts. And that was my first kind of experience of Disney, I think, in terms of my head and seeing Disney. We didn't have a huge amount of TV down there, so like I say, videos were a big thing, and that was my first kind of memory of being introduced to Disney as a concept. Yeah.
For anybody that didn't realize that with his name, yes, he is from originally from Australia.
Yep.
And you said you moved. When did you move to England?
When I was 22, but I spent time in America before I moved to England. So I was a ski bum in Colorado for a couple winters.
Nice.
So I went to America for 4 months, worked in Winter Park in Colorado, and then came over to England. And then I kept going back and forward. So I'd go and do the winters in America and then come back here and work in the summer.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of just answered this, but I am going to ask, who was the first Disney? I guess it was Darren, but who was the first Disney World freak?
From very early on, I didn't hide who I was in regards of buying.
There's a lot of buying questions.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a shock when.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize he was as into Disney as he actually is. That wasn't part of the. I mean, he's actually into so many things that it was a small aspect of it, which has become a very big aspect of our life. But I mean, I didn't realize he was that into Disney as he actually is. For me, I guess I'd growing up wanting to go to a Disney park, and then other things got in the way, and it wasn't a huge desire for me compared to his desire to go there. But I was like, sure, let's go, and then I enjoyed it a lot more than I actually thought I would.
Yeah.
I thought it was, in my head before I went as an adult, I thought it was a bit more aimed at children, and then actually, I didn't think it would be as much for just adults going without kids, But it's it's as much fun. I think it's a conscious effort on their part to make it as enjoyable for adults as it is for kids,
I know exactly how you felt, because my first trip was the same situation. I had gone through a divorce, was going through one, but I ended up being with somebody who now I will be married to 15 years and together 20 next month. No, May. Sorry. I'm already in trouble as it is this morning. But no, she was her family was going down for their first trip, and she had asked, you want to come with us, get away from all the headaches up here, get away from the lawyers and all this. And I even told her, I said, what am I going to go do down there with your family, with all the kids, to Disney World? What am I going to go do in Disney World with you and the kids and everybody else? Thank God I went, because what a look at me now, look at you guys, look at us now, it's
a magic experience.
It's been 12 trips and solo trips without the kids, with the kids.
Wow.
And every room is decorated somehow with Disney in this house. Even the bathroom, yes.
We have one room and it's got everything in it. This is one bedroom flat in central London. It's literally
the living room is decorated with the snow globe. We'll get to all the collection stuff, but everybody knows my story, so let's not worry about that. But Broadway's away. Question for all three of you: what Walt Disney World food would you eat if you could have it right now? Says Pete and Pippa. I'm a polite pig guy from Disney Springs, so anything polite pig. I'll let you guys answer.
We like polite pig. That's one where, we're one of the first ones we went to. We really always throughout this last year of lockdown and COVID, we often mention Ronto wraps from Galaxy's Edge.
God, yes.
So
it's such a basic food, I guess, but we just really enjoyed it. I mean, the sausage, the flavor in the sausage is great. The weird thing is, growing up, I was not a big fan of sausages because I hate the skin texture. I hate the way it just kind of doesn't, you eat into it sometimes and it's just kind of, but then with the Ronto wrap, it has the snap. So it's, that's exactly what I want from a, sausage.
Yes, some of us like that. And then you got my wife, who cannot stand to even hear it snap.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yes, Ronto wrap. Andy and Cheryl, I lived in Australia, one of 10 quid tourists in 1967 Melbourne. That's got to be your language, because I have no idea what that just meant.
That's what my parents were. So the 10 quid thing was basically in England, they were trying to get more people from Europe. I don't know if it's America as well, but more people from Europe. So you paid £10 and that got you your visa and your flight to Australia from Europe. I guess, back then it was a lot more, but it was only £10
to get your flights and your visa.
Yeah, because they wanted skilled workers to come in to, because the population of Australia was quite small, especially back then. Right. So they wanted more skilled labor. So they put that out there, and my parents did the same thing. So they went late 60s, early 70s as part of £10, called £10 POMs. Yeah. I don't know if you heard the term POM before.
But I haven't, no.
it can be used, it can be interpreted in a good way or sometimes in a bad way, but in Australia English people call pommy bastards, so it's so POM is short for pommy, and it's I don't know the full true meaning, but they were called, my parents are £10 POMs anyway.
All right. I'm gonna Google all that when we're done. Ian says, outside of Magic Kingdom, I'm not even convinced Disney World is aimed at young children. Disney is smart. I don't think it was ever aimed at small children as much as Walt wanted it to be. He was smart. I mean, he knew what he was doing. It was aimed at everybody.
With the money, the kids come along.
Right. Seashore and Vlog, good morning, buddy. Good afternoon. How are you? Disney Nerd Herders, who is also his family's from Liverpool, I believe Liverpool, out there in England, but he is here in the States, a few miles up the road from me. Good friends of ours. Welcome in. Charlie, I'm sorry. I screwed that up. I love a good sausage, says Sean. Sean, I am going to leave that comment alone because, you know, we're trying to behave. I had a skilled migration via for Australia, but of a story, trials of life, says Ian. I had a skilled, did I read that right? Yeah, migration via for Australia, but of his story, trials of life. That just confused me even more, Ian, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think there's more there.
Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? All right, let's get into your channel a little bit more. You guys put out a lot of videos, like 80 videos so far, but great work. And I know you mentioned this right at the beginning, but who is the best editor?
I'm the only editor, so it's all me in terms of. I mean, we didn't really sit down and start at the beginning and say you're going to edit and you're going to do the social media, but he doesn't know how to edit. I already knew because I work in film anyway, and I have to make my own show reels for my work. So I knew a little bit about editing in terms of just the basics of editing, but I had to kind of. I mean, YouTube is actually the best place to learn about techniques and skills and things about. I only use iMovie at the moment, but I feel like I need to go to Premiere soon. But I basically took on the whole editing and processing the video and storage, and so I do all that sort of stuff when we're on the trip, and get the cards and put all the video in. And so I do all the edits. I get all the music. I decide pretty much. 98% of it is my kind of just decision making, and he actually doesn't want to see the videos before they go out most of the time. And so I do them completely, and then normally they go out, and then he sees them afterwards, and they go online. And then he just took over all the social media because I don't have time with work and the editing to do that. So it kind of works just really well with two of us, and he does the social media side. I do the editing, and then we just kind of leave each other to the.
Who's doing the photos for the social media, like the popcorn with all the I can't even pronounce them, but my wife bought one. It's right there hanging.
The new emote.
He's holding the shelf up.
Which
Oh, there he is, right? And he's got the same jacket on. But who's doing those photos and all of that?
That's all him. All the photography is him. A lot of photography on the trips is him as well. Whereas I do most of the videos. He does all the photography basically because I'm doing so much video, I don't have time to take photos. So
and then I do the art as well. So anything like the illustrations, which are in our intros or things that we use as a way of advertising on social media, I do all those bits, and I bring in different elements each week.
Nice. I really enjoyed them. I loved when you put the photos up with the popcorn. I'm like, I mean, it was great. It was great. I hope my wife didn't see them, not because I didn't want her to see them, but then she'd want to buy more. And yeah, one's enough. Unlike I saw your haul, and we're gonna get into that. But you did bring something up right now, and I did get some messages, some questions, and I'll ask them, but I don't. But you just said you work in filming. Do both of you work in filming? Correct?
No. I did a degree in production design, but it went nowhere because of where I lived. There was no work where I lived, and I didn't move down here until it was many years later.
You did briefly work on when you were doing some experience.
Oh, yeah, I worked.
You worked on Farscape back in the day, was it? Farscape?
Yeah, sci-fi Farscape for a work experience. That was back in 1999.
Something else?
Yeah, a bunch of things, but because I have health issues, I found that a career in that field of work wouldn't suit me. I'd need to be mobile all the time, and I can't be mobile all the time.
Right.
So I've just kept my hand in illustrations wise throughout. And then now I work for a museum in London. So
nice.
Completely different, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
And that's all that matters. Love what you do. You're happy doing it. That's all that matters. But Darren, you are in the film industry. We know. I'm trying. Hold on. I should have had this ready. I saw something on social media this morning, and I had to copy and put it out there. Somebody, and I know that's not you, but
that's my twin Florida brother.
Yeah, twin Florida. I knew who that was, but he is pointing, and I'm going to get that out of there real quick.
Baz is awesome,
you don't want your whole name out there, but that is credits for WandaVision.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Darren, and I did let this out earlier, because I know a lot of fans of WandaVision out there, myself included, and we'll get into that in a second too. But You did work on WandaVision. You also worked on The Mandalorian.
Yes, I worked on the first season. Yeah, it was quite a surprise because obviously we saw the stuff at Star Wars Celebration. You know, they did the first trailer and they did the behind the scenes stuff. And I wasn't working on it back then, and I was like, oh wow, you know, I'd love to get on there, but I'd been finding it hard to break into the bigger companies and the bigger projects. So up until that point, I'd worked on Mission Impossible 6 and that Robin Hood remake and stuff. You know, the Robin Hood with Taron Egerton and things like that. But I hadn't done anything really, really good. And then I was working on a kids' TV show called Moon and Me. And then ILM put out that they were looking for people. My contract I wasn't sure about was coming up. And so I applied and just managed to get in. And then I only did 2 months, but I did, you know, quite a few decent shots. I worked on the second episode with the Sandcrawler sequence.
The Jawas, yeah.
Yeah.
Of The Mandalorian we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. WandaVision, you worked on this last episode, correct?
The last 2 episodes, yeah.
The last
my name didn't actually appear in the previous one. They didn't put me on the credits. So I was like, oh, because I joined the project again quite late. It was November, December. So I was working November, December. So I wasn't sure whether my name would get on the credits. But yeah, they made it on there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And,
yeah.
You know, again, just because I'm a big fan of you two, just to know that, you know, even more, it was very exciting. So these guys want spoilers. Baker family wants spoilers. I was personally sent a message. Actually, it wasn't. It was done live during last week's episode. They want to know something about the show. I'm not going to ask because I don't want to be spoiled. I don't even want to ask.
He couldn't if he wanted to.
I mean, legally, I'm not supposed to anyway. But to be honest, all the stuff I've worked on has now been shown anyway.
Okay.
So even though I guess I had access to certain cuts of the episode, I didn't watch the stuff that I wasn't working on. Because I just didn't have time and I was working quite a lot. The only really spoilerific thing that I was working on, I knew that Evan Peters was coming back as Quicksilver, which is some of the shots I worked on.
That's nice.
Which is, you know, obviously it's already been shown, it's already out there, so I hope I'm not spoiling it for people who haven't watched the show. But you know, that's the only spoilerific thing that I knew, and we obviously kept that a secret. You know, it's interesting because you sometimes see things banging around social media, but you know, you can't say anything on social media. You know, I can talk about it and stuff. So you know, but yeah, that was the only real spoilerific thing that I knew.
You kept Baby Yoda, Grogu. He kept it secret from me.
Oh yeah,
for months before.
Wow, that's right. You said the first season, so you knew about Baby Yoda before.
Yeah, it's weird because when I first started working on it, I saw it. I wasn't, you know, I was kind of shocked.
The hair standing. I'm telling you, I'm going to sit back. Anybody else want to ask questions? Because I just want to listen to stories.
Yeah, but the thing is, he can talk quite a lot. He's quite chatty, especially on social media as well. And I can't tell him stuff anymore. I couldn't look. Oh I didn't tell him anything about the show. And then one of the posters was released, and there was a Sandcrawler on there. I said, look at that. That's what I'm working on. He's like, yeah, but it's on the poster. Everyone knows about that. You know, I'm like, that's all I'm giving you. I'm not telling you anything else.
Oh my god!
And it's fantastic that, you know, thousands of workers who worked on The Mandalorian, no one told it. No, I actually Googled it one time before the show came out to see if there's any sort of anyone chatting about it anywhere, and I didn't see anyone or any spoilers anywhere. So that's kind of good, you know.
Well, good for you. Good, you know, it tells you it's something about you. It really does. No, it's good. I'm glad you kept even a secret from him. I can't keep secrets from my wife because she would. I'd be shut off forever. But yeah, they all want. Listen, I'll put it out there. They all want to know who the cameo is on the last episode. I'd like to know myself, but I don't want to know.
I wouldn't have a clue. I don't even. I couldn't even tell them even if I wanted to because I don't know who it is. From me watching from now on. It's I don't know anything, so it's all news to me. You know, even the stuff with Monica Rambeau, I didn't know all that stuff because I hadn't watched that stuff. You know, I wasn't working on those sequences, so you know, yeah. I mean, you know, legally I couldn't do it anyway, even if I wanted to. But you know, and I'd never work again in the industry if I did. But
tell me about it.
But a lot of it is a surprise to me, you know. So it's, you know, I'm enjoying it as much as having worked on it, you know. So yeah.
Sean thinks it's Doctor Strange, and Sean, you're the one. See, I asked the question, Sean. I told you I was going to ask, and I asked Carlos. So please, you finally started watching WandaVision. Dennis, yeah, I'll tell that real quick if these two gentlemen don't know about that. I never got into Marvel. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Never got into Marvel until some people in this community started to bully me in good fun, but bully me to watch some. So I watched the first 7 in chronicle order, the first 7 movies. But WandaVision came out. My wife had watched the first 2 episodes. And I'm like, what is this thing all about? Let me go watch this. Everybody's watching. It's trending. I have this show. Let me go watch. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with WandaVision. I don't know anything that's going on. I had no idea who her brother was. I have no idea who Wanda was. Until I saw the first credits and the Marvel came up, I'm like, I'm watching Marvel. I had no idea what WandaVision was. So I am loving it. I am watching some more Marvel movies to try to figure out what is going on. But at least the bullying has stopped.
Yeah, I'm a bigger fan of the Marvel movies than you are. But
yes,
we're both into comics. So
yeah, I grew up reading X-Men. So.
I never read comic books. I was never into. The only comics I liked to read was in a newspaper, and I'm not even showing my age. But as a young kid, my father would have the newspaper, and I'd go read like Peanuts, Blondie.
Well, I used to read X-Men when I was a kid, about 12 years old. And when I started reading, they were actually situated in Australia. So I thought, and my friend, we thought it was an Australian comic. I didn't realize it was an American comic that was going out all over the world because they were living in Australia. I just thought, oh, they're Australian, it's an Australian thing. And then we kind of realized, oh, no, this is a lot bigger than what we thought it was. But
right.
I actually thought X-Men was an Australian comic, growing up. It was, yeah.
That's also what brought us together as well. We both discovered quite quickly. We were both into the same kind of era of comics and art, and so it's all connected for us.
36 minutes in. Let me get to some main questions that I really want to get into because but I want to welcome in Surf Bomb John. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for being in here. Still trying to get Disney Plus. And here's my wife Suzanne. Suzanne's finally watching. She had some errands to run this morning. Hello, dear. Thank you for popping in. All right, let's get into this but I'm going to do it this way. For you guys to get a real feel of this, the ones that are new here and have not seen, go subscribe. You know how I feel. I usually tell people, go check out their channel and then consider subscribing. Listen, there is no considering. These guys are worth subscribing. Trust me. Go subscribe to their channel. Because you're gonna get a lot more. And here I am using my mouse as if people can see what I'm pointing at. You're gonna get a lot more of that in the background. And not listen. And they're great at what they do, but just to be able to look at that background while they're doing their vlogs is enough for me to be. Is enough. Yeah, I know. Can we point the camera a little more? No. We have a life-size stormtrooper over there. So where. There he is. There he is. I love it. And now you have a 9-inch too that we saw.
We've got every shape and size.
Every shape and that's great. That's a great way to put it. Every shape and size. We have stormtroopers. Who's the biggest Star Wars fan? I think you just said it was Darren. Oh no, that's right.
Yeah, me. I guess me. Yeah. Again, because of the same with Disney. All the books I had as a kid were Star Wars. Star Wars first toy I can never remember being given by a relative was a Star Wars toy back in 1979 or 1980 maybe, and that's been there throughout. There's been these probably 3 main things: Disney, Star Wars, Muppets are like the 3 kind of constants. But you love it. I
love Star Wars, and I was my interest was more the first 3 films. I call them the first 3, but the earliest films,
the original trilogy,
4, 5, and 6. So that was my kind of thing growing up, and I was a big fan as a kid. Then you kind of lose a bit of interest, and then when I met him, my interest kind of peaked to a lot higher level again once we were together. But also it was the fact that, when I was in film school, because I went back to film school 6 years ago, when I was in film school was when they started the whole, Star Wars thing again with the recent films.
Right, the new generation.
That kind of reignited the passion, I guess you could say, inside me in terms of my interest. So,
I'm a details person, so like with Disney and Star Wars, I know the names of things in the background, or I'm very much into that kind of thing. And so, like when we go to Disney World, I'll point out things that aren't necessarily obvious, whether it be about Imagineering or history or something. So it's that same element with Star Wars, I guess. Yeah, but you love it. We can, we live and breathe it, and we just love it.
We have another good friend in this community, Triple P, Josh. He's like that. He knows all the details in the background of everything in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And I was there this last trip, and he was there as well with his family, and he was trying to point things out, and I'm like, I have no idea. I love the movies, I know the movies, but detail, no, I'm not that. I'm just not that guy. I have no idea. This Our Dreams, one of my partner channels, going live right after us at 11. Welcome in, buddy. Jeff and Angela, thanks for being here. Let's get into. All right, yeah. Let's just go into that question. When did the obsession? Because it is an obsession. I have it too, so it's not a bad word. But when did the obsession of collecting begin? No matter what it was, I can see Star Wars stuff. But we all know if you go watch their vlogs, folks. It's Pops. Somebody has a big addiction to Pops, Funko Pops. Yeah, Darren's gonna be Rob's gonna be doing a lot of pointing right now, and maybe some eye rolling too, because we get a lot of vlogs.
I mean, financially, I've never been able to afford. We don't combine finances, so we live separately in terms of finances. We are engaged in stuff, but I can't afford half the stuff that he buys. He like when we do the videos. It's quite true in terms of he hasn't shown me all the stuff because I'm just working here, even though we're in lockdown. I'm working. I'm focused. He gets these boxes come in, and I'm like, even sometimes he's opened box and show me stuff, and I'm like, we do the video, and I've got no idea because I'm not focused on what he's bought and it's a complete surprise to me, and we just don't have the room. So when the eye rolling starts going, it's because we just don't have the room for all this stuff that he keeps buying, and I'm like, where are we going to store? We need to get storage so we can.
I rotate.
Yeah.
He rotates. It's like working at a grocery store. We rotate the.
Yeah, exactly. We've got like a storage cupboard where I store certain things. There's other stuff that I just kind of fall out of love with, and that's often eBayed or we've given away things. So it's kind of
giving away things. My address is down below. It's in the description. I mean, I'll pay for the overseas fee. Nick and BYT Vlogs, welcome in. Thanks for being here, Nick. Appreciate it. But when did the obsession stop? When did you start collecting? Like, was it as a child? Do you still have things from your childhood?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to go in there. When we go back to his parents' house in just outside Nottingham, their attic is full of like their first like console, their first Sega Mega Drive, there's so much stuff in the attic of their first things that him and his brother collected. And they had, obviously, the Star Wars. And then he now sends back the boxes for the Hot Toys because we don't have room to store them to his parents. And his parents now actually have a map of where stuff is stored in the attic because there's that much stuff. And then sometimes he'll be like, I need this box because I want to sell this figure here or that figure. It's literally a map that they've drawn showing where the stuff is in the attic because there's stuff of their gear. That's all I'm going to say on that subject.
That's great.
But the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's my parents and my family, and they got me the first Star Wars figures, and
wow.
George Lucas and Kenner knew what they were doing when they released and drip fed Star Wars figures out. And I'd just save up my money. And even when I was at college, I went to college to do an art foundation course, and it was down the road from Disney Store and down the road from a major comic store. So every lunch I'd get a sandwich, then go to Disney Store and buy little figures or, whatever. Right. Yeah. And then I guess, because I've never driven, I've not owned a car. I've never driven. I've always done public transport. I've always had a certain element of disposable income or money that I can put aside per month to, even begin to afford some of the things. And then some things that I buy for investment. Some things like these are like.
Yes,
I mean, the good thing about Hot Toys is they are these big figures, but they actually go up in value mostly. Yeah. It's 80% of them go up in value. So even if you want to move it on and get a different one, you can still sell it on and you haven't lost it, which is a great thing. You can still take it out of that box. I sometimes with the Disney holidays, I cash in a few figures. I basically sell, say, 3 figures, and then I've got a good chunk of cash to sort of pay for a holiday or help pay for a holiday. And it's just knowing which ones to sell at which time. And
I could never sell. I don't have a collection like that, not even close. I don't think I have any Star Wars. Besides, I mean, I could turn mine, but besides Legos and popcorn buckets, Disney popcorn buckets, I have all the Star Wars.
the Lego used to be out of control for me. Before I moved down to London, I used to have Lego everywhere in my old house.
I was going to go there next. If any of you were Lego.
Yeah, I've sold a hell of a lot in the last sort of like few years. So now I've just got like main pieces. So behind the camera, there's the Millennium Falcon full size thing. Tantive is on top of that.
The real big one, the
$100
one. Wow.
Yeah, it's got its own display. I invested in a display case for it specifically because I loved it so much. So that goes nowhere. That is staying.
Is there a vlog of that?
No, but we're going to do that. We're going to do collection.
Because that I want to see. Because I just mentioned Triple P, Josh. He is a big Lego. He's got even a Lego channel, and he has that one. He also has the Star Destroyer. Yeah, the real big one. Yeah, he's got.
You still have Jabba's Palace?
No, I've got Jabba's Palace, but I did a lot of like Pete from Broadway's Away. I like to tinker with them. I like to modify them.
Yeah.
So like the Jabba's Palace from a few years ago, I extended it and I doubled it in size. And
really?
Yeah. It's in storage. It's in a box somewhere, but it's kind of
somewhere. It's on mom and dad's map somewhere.
Yeah. But I also take photos of everything that I own. At some point, I'll take like glam shots, and I really enjoy doing those as well because it gives you a bit of a chance to sort of make them look as good as possible. And that's we do that on social media as well. I tend to share a lot of collection.
Lego. I only have the AT-AT and the Baby Yoda. Star Wars piece because the AT-AT or the AT-AT was my favorite. When I first saw that in Empire Strikes Back, I'm like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing in the world. I don't care if it's part of, the Empire. It was the greatest thing. So my wife got me that for Christmas this year, and I bought her a Baby Yoda. But we have all the other Disney, as you can see, Cinderella Castle here. And
the castle is something I would love, but I just know that I can't justify it at the moment. So it's...
It's funny. That was the only piece that I could justify having. Spending that money on it because Disney World Freak, the name itself, you got to have that. I did not want, if you could see those two ugly ones down there, the Mickey and Minnie.
Oh yeah,
yeah, those I didn't want, but I have the train station too.
That's lovely. Yeah, but I think that is Lego is the one that I have to really kind of hold. I have to sort of keep reminding myself, no, you don't do it, don't buy it, don't. I'll put things in the basket. And they'll sit there for a few days, and I'll kind of go, no, take it out of the basket, walk away. And I get the odd piece now and again, but generally now it's not nowhere near what I used to.
What is, like for me, it's snow globes and popcorn buckets. I have over 37 popcorn buckets and sippers, and I have close to 30 snow globes, Disney snow globes. What's the thing you have the most of? Is it the Star Wars pieces behind you, or is it something?
Yeah, I'd say as part of a permanent collection, something we always have on display all times. It's always lit, morning till night. It's the Star Wars kind of 1/6 scale figures that I didn't start collecting until I met you. So it was kind of like you introduced me to that. But then, figures in general, actually. Funko Pops, neither of us, when we first met, we hated Funko Pops. We were kind of like completely not into them. But that's the one, again, similar to Lego, that's the one that's kind of got a bit out of control.
Yeah, a little bit. I've noticed that a little bit on blogs. But Funkos, I can't say I've not gotten into them because I don't collect them like everything else. But yeah, it is a big number, but they're small. So it's easy to get to a big number. I'm trying to count real quick. Probably 30 pieces. But I don't collect Funko. I don't collect anything. I don't know about you guys. Do you call yourself collectors or buyers? I'm a buyer.
I'm a collector. I'm definitely a collector.
Okay.
I keep more stuff than I sell on. And when I sell on, it's usually, like I say, because I've fallen out of love with it. Or I've seen something else that I'm thinking, I want that in the collection more. It will look better in this place or that place.
Right.
You collect comics, don't you? You also.
My only thing actually I did really collect is I collected comics again recently, like variant covers. So I guess to try and make up for the fact that they're losing sales through digital, a lot of comic companies are producing variant covers, and so there's kind of like superstar artists who do variant covers, and so I've collect certain artists. Mark Brooks is my favorite. He does a lot of Star Wars stuff actually as well, the Star Wars comics. But I've had to pull back on those, to be honest, because it's just too much, and we've got boxes and boxes right here. And
literally, this is the camera is sat on top of boxes and boxes of comics. Yeah, the other thing would be art books. So things to do with Disney, anything to do with Disney, animation, parks, Imagineering, etc., design, theory, Star Wars, behind the scenes stuff. We've got a considerable collection of like art books that we really shouldn't have here because they take up so much room, but at the same time I can't be without them because I love them as an inspiration. So
I just call myself a buyer. I guess I am a collector. I shouldn't just call myself a buyer because I do collect. I keep everything. I don't sell anything. I don't sell on eBay. What I buy, I keep. I purposely buy knowing that I'm going to keep it. I'm never going to sell it. But I changed the term of buying from collecting to buying for the simple reason of I don't collect a certain thing. If I see something I like, I'm going to buy it. So if something new, like my wife, she put in the chat, look, they have the same Stitch. I haven't got into these yet, so I won't be collecting these. I won't be buying these. My wife bought that one, but like the Pops, I only bought certain ones. So I'm not collecting Pops, but I am buying the ones I like. Like I have all the Mickeys. I have not all of them, but a lot of Mickeys. Beauty and the Beast, when the new movie came out, I had to have all of those. So that's why I differentiate myself as a buyer and a collector.
Yeah,
as a collector, I'd be buying like you guys every Pop there is.
For Funkos, I probably would say I'm a buyer rather than a collector with Funkos because all the things we get, well, all the things I get, are either Disney. It's got to tick a box. I'm not a completist. I don't want to have every single one, but I've got a lot of Disney parks stuff kind of here and here. They're the ones that kind of pique my interest the most. Then there's things like they did the Golden Girls TV series. So if there's a show that has a place in my heart, they'll be the ones that make me kind of go, I've got to have those because they're so random. If you told 16-year-old me that I was going to have like a 4-inch figure of Rose Nyland,
gosh. My wife, I can hear my wife right now. Like, we got to get that.
Yeah.
We love the Golden Girls. I grew up on it. I'm only 43. I'm 43, but I grew up. I used to compare Rose to not Rose. I used to compare oh my God, the slut, Blanche. Why her name was? And yes, I did say that word just now on stream. I used to compare not for that reason, but to my aunt. She reminds me of my aunt. The makeup, the way she talks, the attitude. The other stuff, no, I can't. But in general, that oh my God, I fell in love with the Golden Girls. We still watch it. Kershaw's Adventures, welcome in. We are going to run over time. I know we are. This our dreams. I apologize, buddy. But you're going live at 11. But we're going to definitely run over time. I saw a question right here. NBYT. Here's a question: are Star Wars, Marvel comics any good? I think you meant Star Wars or Marvel.
No, so yeah, Marvel now make Star Wars. They as part of the Disney deal, they produce all the comics for Star Wars as well. So and everything they produce is canon, so it's part of the universe. That's everything that's written is as it is. So I collect them. There's some which are really, really good. I'd say the mainline Star Wars as a title, I love that. There's been some mini-series, a Lando Calrissian 4-part miniseries comic by Marvel, which is just beautiful art, beautiful storytelling, and it's in keeping with the original trilogy and his character. And it's really pushed the edges of the Star Wars universe and writing so much further. So if you can, try the main titles and then maybe some of the spin-offs that they've done, depending on what your tastes are. If you like the original trilogy, stick to those characters. If you want to try something different, try some of their newer titles and their newer characters. They've done like so many like sequel trilogies, prequel trilogy series. There's something for everybody in there, and quite often the art is just perfect. It's just so well done.
I regret, I guess, never getting into comics, because it is such a big thing. It's a very big thing. And
it's amazing how big it has become in the last 20 years or so. How big an industry, especially expanding into films, that it's made comics so much more acceptable. I guess you could say. I think, yeah.
That's allowed.
I think that's what it is. Once Marvel started coming out with their movies and everything,
Yeah.
and it just
Well, I think the first ones that really made it big were the X-Men films made by Fox. They were the kind of ones that kind of brought X-Men to a bigger audience and made kind of comics more acceptable. And then that's Spider-Man,
Batman 1989 as well. Yeah, we've noticed, we've gone from, I think a lot of YouTubers would probably say the same thing. They were all the same kind of people as children and teenagers, where they didn't have a voice. They couldn't be outwardly nerdy, geeky, into things.
Yep.
YouTubers allowed so many people to do that and actually have a voice and actually find people all over the world. And that's what we get from our channel, is we get so many people that we didn't expect be into exactly the same thing as we are, exactly the same combinations. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's part of all of it coming in together as one. And it's, we're an equal opportunity sort of nerd.
Good way to put it. Graham Jones, welcome in, buddy. And Graham does have a question. How long does it take to dust that immense collection behind you?
So it used to be I'd dust it once every 2 to 3 months, not realizing with living in London, you get a lot of dust in houses and we live next to a main road. So you have to be really careful. I've now dust proofed them. So they've all got, I did a project last year where I spent, a week or two cleaning everything down, emptying it all out. And every single one of them's got like a dust strip that keeps it sealed. So when you open it, it goes, no, it does. But it's like, it literally means there's not as much. It's literally, I clean the outsides now and that's it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is a problem with collecting. It really is.
Yeah.
I'll admit that. There's so much to dust. It is unreal. We have not as big as that, maybe half, maybe one of those 2 doors, out in the dining area with all of my porcelain pieces and all that. And what a pain in the rear end to dust that. Dennis wants me to join you guys in Provincetown for Bear Week. One, do you even know where Provincetown is?
We do. We know of Provincetown and we know of Bear Week.
All right, but you have never been to Provincetown.
Never been. No. Lots of friends who've been, but we've never been.
Well, if you consider it, please let me know because I am literally 2.5 hours away. We're in Provincetown.
Right. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I like to go to Provincetown once every couple of years just because I love the town. I love going out there. A lot of I'm Portuguese. I was born here, but my family's from Portugal. And there is a lot of Portuguese heritage out there. We get our family friends used to own the restaurant out there, and we used to always go and visit the restaurant once a year. When my parents, my mother's still alive, when my father was alive. But I love Provincetown. What a beautiful town. It's if you can, and I'll put it out there. If you don't mind, everything else that's out there, go. Because if you do mind that, then stay the hell away because you don't even belong on this earth. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into any political thing around here now. No. You know what? I know we're going to run out of time because we should have been done by now, but I am going to now. That's all I have. That's a lot. And it's not all I have. I know I have a million other things in my mind, but that's all I wrote down. We're going to get to our Disney questions, but before, I like to end every show with a set of questions that I ask your favorites. It's all your Disney favorites, so we're going to get into that. But first and foremost, before don't anybody go, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. Was the Pete McDevitt. You got the GoFundMe's open. It is in my pinned description, pinned message. You can also Venmo him and PayPal him. If you can afford it, please do. Next week, Piano Adventures will be joining me on Saturday. I need to reach out, make sure we're still confirmed for that. And in 2 weeks, it will be Lindsay Lands. I met her while we were stuck on Rise of the Resistance. Stuck there for 52 minutes.
Whoa.
I had to go. I was all on live stream. I was streaming live. We were about to ride Rise of the Resistance, and in the bay, where all the stormtroopers are, literally sitting there for 53 minutes, just sitting there. And
I'd struggle with that even.
It was great because we were lucky. We ended up sitting on a floor right next to one of the ride vehicles that they have in that room. So I plopped myself right inside the ride vehicle. I'm like, I'm not sitting on the floor. I'll sit right in here. And the characters, the cast members, played along. I have one. You can go back and watch it. I had one
Okay,
picking on
yeah.
me. He was like interrogating me. He was picking on me. It was great. But this young lady, Lindsay Land, her and her mother was sitting in front of us doing some vlogging, and 53 minutes of wasting time. People are in the chat like interview her and get to know her, and so she is going to be on. She's going to be interviewed in a couple of weeks. So that's looking forward to that. And then I do have Thursday and Tuesday show. Thursday and this my computer's very slow. Fast Pass the Fun. Why is it not lit up? But it is. There it is. Fast Pass the Fun. Thursday next week we are discussing favorite. No, not favorite. We're not using that word anymore. The best Disney roller coasters.
Ooh.
So we're looking forward to that. Paul and Nathan from Saturday Night Discussions will be my partners for that video, for that stream. Take your banner down, Carlos. My banner is not down. Oh, leave. Oh, yeah. You know what? I always screw that up. Yes. Just leave me alone. It always happens. Fly to Boston, take a Silver Line to you and ferry. Dennis knows everywhere and everything. I love this man. This guy is dedicated. He watches every replay, the whole thing, and he'll send me a message with all his intake on it. It's great. I love this guy. Dennis, I appreciate you being here, buddy. You know that. You literally are dedicated, and I thank you for that. So let's get to the questions. Jeff, I know you're live streaming already, buddy, but we went over. Sorry, I told you it was going to be like that with these guys. I'm so excited to have you. These questions, and we didn't even touch Disneyland Paris, so maybe next time we're going to have you guys back on eventually. These questions are all pertaining to Disney World because that's where I've been. But if you do think there's something better at a different Disney park that you have been to, like Disneyland Paris, feel free to shout it out. And you don't have to agree on any of it because, I don't agree with my wife on 100% of the things. So you don't have to either. Favorite Disney character?
Donald Duck for me. And Chippendale.
Chip or Dale, Chippendale as a combination, but they're my favorites. Yeah.
Nice. Haven't had a Chippendale yet. Had a Donald's. Favorite park?
I'd probably say Hollywood Studios for me.
Hollywood Studios, but it depends on the mood.
Because of Star Wars, I think the Hollywood Studios
depends on the mood.
Magic Kingdom is a completely we love all of them. We fell in love with all of them. We didn't expect to. Right. We love Animal Kingdom for certain reasons, and it was
Take Everest and Dinosaur out. Send the animals to a zoo, and then just burn the park down. That's my opinion.
I think let's just say it was better than we thought it was going to be. That's
right. Okay. It's a
Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios now, I think for obvious reasons, but it's the one we fell in love with first on our first visit. So
I'm an Epcot guy just because I'm a foodie. So I love Epcot. I love culture. So
that's something we want to tap into more next trip. Yeah, we haven't done enough Epcot for our.
It's funny. My first trip, I never went to World Showcase. I didn't even know it was there. That's
you love the Ratatouille ride as well. That's really, really good.
Looking forward to it. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Really enjoyed that.
Favorite ride?
Well, we haven't been on Rise of Resistance, so we can't say that.
I would say I prefer the more extreme side of roller coasters, the faster ones, the more extreme stuff. But I actually really enjoy Expedition Everest.
Yeah,
we just really have a good time on that one, even though it's not the most extreme one. But it's a gentle, nice ride up, and then it gets quite fast coming down. And
I was going to say not extreme. My wife's probably throwing things at the TV right now. Like, what do you mean it's not extreme?
Everest is probably our favorite for thrills, shall we say?
Yeah. Wait. What's your thought? Again, we're already over the time, so I don't care anymore. What's your thought on Pandora? Flight of Passage.
We love it.
We like it. Yeah. The first time we went was late 2017, and we couldn't get a fast pass, so we were in line for the what's the one where you're riding on the thing?
The river, Navi River journey.
Yeah. So we waited 2 hours 45 minutes to get on that. And I had a massive headache by the end of it because of all the kids screaming in the halls and stuff. And I was just, it wasn't quite as enjoyable as I'd hoped it would be. And we did it a couple of years later. I enjoyed it a lot more, for sure.
Rise of the Resistance. Have you watched any videos yet?
Yeah,
we watched the
Oh,
whole. Yeah.
so you've seen it. So no spoilers.
There's
You're
nothing
not trying
spoiled about that ride for us.
my wife's not a Star Wars fan. She she feeds into me. She watches it with me because I watch it. She came off the ride saying the same thing. The greatest thing Disney has ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rise of the Resistance, the greatest thing Disney's done.
Well, as I said, the Ratatouille is very similar in terms of the experience, from what I can imagine, because they're basically the same kind of thing.
Yeah, sort of, you feel like you're gliding through a story, but
yeah,
but let's not compare the stories.
No, exactly.
When you see those ads in person inside that, oh my God, yeah.
Oh, I'll cry.
Yeah,
I know.
It's on live stream. You can hear me. I'm banging on the seat, all excited, jumping. Oh no, not the first time. It was the second time, but the first time I was literally banging on the seat, jumping like a 2-year-old, all excited. Yeah,
unfortunately we missed it by 2 weeks. I mean, there were people guarding it and people testing it.
Yeah,
but it was 2 weeks we couldn't get on, and
that's you're gonna love it. I can't wait for you guys to go ride that. Favorite attraction. Now this I use as your Carousel of Progress is a ride, is an attraction, but could be fireworks, could be parade, could be nighttime show, daytime show, stage show, 3D, anything that's not considered a ride.
I really, this is where we differ. I really love the fireworks. He couldn't care less.
Me neither.
And that's why, I get it. But the fireworks actually hit me harder than I thought they would.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it was Wishes. Wishes was the first one I saw in Magic Kingdom, I think. And once Tinkerbell came out and flew across, I was like, that's it, sold. But I also like things like the Tiki Room. I love.
Really?
I love just sitting and chilling and seeing an old retro-styled show, which is not the most popular thing, but.
Well, I was going to say the Country Bear Jamboree. If you're talking about a little thing that you're sitting down and watching, that's what I really like.
Wow, you mentioned two things.
Bizarre little experience.
Two things that I can admit I have never seen in person. 12 trips. 12 trips. I have never done a Tiki Room in person or Country Bear Jamboree.
Wow, we've done Tiki Room twice and the Jamboree once.
You fell asleep on Carousel of Progress.
Oh, I love Carousel of Progress.
Again, it's that whole thing of knowing more about the Imagineering. For me, I get completely switched on by that. But I can turn around and he'll be like,
Well, we all love that ride, that attraction or ride for its reasons. And one is you can sleep, and one is nostalgia. You can pick whichever one reason you like it.
And the air conditioning.
The air conditioning. It was a hot day. There's air conditioning. You're sitting down. You just make yourself comfortable and
right. I should ask this earlier, but do you stay on property or off property? I know you've only been 3 times. But...
We've done both.
Yeah. First time we stayed at Pop Century. We also stayed with a friend, and for a limited time, then we were staying at Pop Century. Second trip, we stayed at, I always get the name wrong, the Hilton, is it?
No, not the Hilton. It's the Grand Cypress something or other. It's it's right next to sort of the Hilton and Disney Springs.
Okay.
It's got a huge golf course and whatever. And we got a really good price on it. And actually, it was nice to do that because we got to see what you can get for your money outside of the bubble.
And it was really close to Taco Bell, which I love as well.
That's awesome. At least you didn't say Domino's, because you Brits kill me. No. Oh, thank God. Somebody doesn't like Domino's from England.
I can't say Domino's. But no, I love Taco. It's really bad, but I love Taco Bell. It's just so bad. And then
you and my daughter get along very well.
And then the final time we stayed, where did we stay?
Oh, Coronado Springs.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing. Coronado Springs.
Well, my question is going to be favorite resort. It can be one that you haven't stayed at. Maybe a favorite resort that you would love to stay at.
The one we stayed at, Coronado Springs. We stayed in the Gran Destino Tower.
Yeah, nice,
phenomenal. For adults who are into Disney but want to have that kind of place to just switch off the earworm music.
Financially, if we could, I'd love to stay at
Polynesian.
Polynesian is the one I'd really love to experience. That bar in there is fantastic.
Trader Sam's.
Yeah.
Trader Sam's, yep.
Yeah. I'd like to see it be updated. I think it is going to be updated, but I would love to hold out a few years and go when it's been updated.
When we can afford it.
Yeah, we stay at Pop Century a lot, and if not, then we go to Port Orleans, Riverside. But Pop Century is great, and you guys have stayed there already.
Well, we're going back there again theoretically, if it comes
yeah,
up.
because we want to get use of the Skyliner as well. We want to do more of that. Because the Skyliner was running when we were last there, but we didn't need to use it.
We had a car,
Right.
so
We had a car, and this time we're going without a rental car for the first time. So we're going to be relying very much more on public transport and Ubers, etc. So
Right.
yeah, but Polynesian, there's just something about Polynesian that ticks it for us. I don't know.
I think it's just the aesthetic of the whole, hotel really kind of appeals to me.
The whole tiki thing,
Yeah.
because we'd like to go to Hawaii. So it's yeah.
There you go. Favorite restaurant? Disney restaurant.
Is this including Disney Springs?
It is.
Okay, yeah.
Disney property.
I would say Boathouse or Homecoming for me.
Boathouse, me, yeah.
Love Homecoming. Still haven't done Boathouse.
Uh,
We had Homecoming for Thanksgiving here, our last trip, right on Thanksgiving Day. It's the day we got there. It was our first meal of our trip. Nothing else compared to it after that. But I'm a
too heavy
polite
for lunch.
guy.
We had homecoming for lunch. It was too heavy for lunch, and also we were going to Epcot straight after, which was really bad because Epcot's the food place as well.
Yeah,
So
you can't do that.
it was really bad planning on that in that respect. I think it would be better for dinner next time. But actually, we really love, even though it's not like fancy.
Blaze Pizza.
Blaze Pizza. Oh, Blaze Pizza
Yes.
was awesome. It's
At
amazing.
least that's real pizza, not like that Domino's.
Yeah,
crap.
exactly.
But polite, I've said it 3 times already today, but Polite Pig is my go-to. I love barbecue. I love that restaurant. And if you're on a dining plan, it's the most food for your credit.
Yeah, we've done
Still not done a
yet.
dining plan. We did think about it for last year, but then as money, we had to rearrange for this year. We had to pay more money for the change of dates. So
Yeah.
that went out the window.
Favorite dish that you have had ever in Disney?
Ooh.
Favorite meal that you've had? Not a snack.
So in restaurants.
Yeah.
I would actually say the Boathouse mac and cheese that we had is my favorite.
That was amazing.
Really?
I mean, I had a good steak when I was in the Beast.
To be your guest.
Be a guest.
Yeah.
That was a really good steak meal, but I didn't like the dessert, so I think that kind of influenced on it. Whereas I just really loved that meal at the Boathouse.
Yeah, for me, be our guest. I think I had scallops, and scallops are one of my seafood favorites. I'm not a big fish eater, but I do like seafood.
Was it in pasta?
Sorry?
Was it with pasta?
No, I have had it with pasta though before.
My wife's favorite dish ever was that pasta one, scallops and pasta at Be Our Guest.
Yeah, it's but we enjoyed our experience there. I don't necessarily think we'd go back for the money, but this is one of the things we discovered on our last trip was we need to try more Disney restaurants rather than going to fast food places or places outside of the bubble.
Right.
So I'd like.
We always think when we're at the park we'll have lunch at the park, but it's always thinking about dinner outside the park.
Yeah.
So we did more dinner inside the parks this time. We did Browns and
Yeah, Browns I had scallops.
Yeah, we never eat. Well, I shouldn't say never. We 99.8% of the time we eat inside the parks, in the park on property.
Oh, okay, right.
Rarely do we leave. My son's a very picky eater. So is my daughter, actually. But we have to make that trip to McDonald's on property at least 5-6 times during the trip, just to make sure he's eating. At least he has something full in his stomach. And then his Flipper Pizza. If you guys want to eat outside, Flipper's Pizza. There's about 20 locations down there. Great pizza.
Okay,
yeah, Flippers, great pizza. But besides that, Dunkin' Donuts every morning. We drive to Disney. We drive to Disney from Rhode Island, so I always have my car. So every morning, I'm an early riser. I 5 o'clock, I'm up on vacation. I'll get in the car. I'll go to Dunkin'. I'm usually their first customer, waiting for a good Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And
actually, breakfast we love. What's that breakfast place we go to? Where they have all the omelets and stuff.
Oh my God, not Denny's.
No, House of Pancakes.
No. The other one. Loads of pancakes. Not loads of pancakes. Loads of omelets. IHOP.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we love IHOP.
As soon as you said pancakes, IHOP.
Oh, this has pancakes.
Favorite Disney snack?
Ronto wrap.
Ronto wrap. Yeah.
That's not really a snack, is it? You're using a meal credit, so.
Oh, okay. I have no idea of that. Gosh.
But I love.
I
listen,
really like.
I'm laughing because to me, I would eat that, and I did this trip. I didn't eat that as a meal. I'm like, oh, I want a ronto wrap. I'm gonna have that as.
See, I'm more of a savory person. So in terms of the sweet snacks, I haven't really had so many of those, to be honest.
Whereas I'll be. We did on our last trip. We did like the after hours event in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah,
which was amazing. And I basically went to the bakery and ended up buying a bag full of cookies and cupcakes and what. Then we realized, oh no, we're going on rides now.
But even that, we went to a Christmas night one year, 2007, and we got like all these
Mickey's Christmas.
Yeah, and we got all these desserts included as part of the whole package. But the first thing I went and got a hot dog with the cheese sauce. Because I'm more of a savory kind of person. I need that savory food in before I start having the desserts, and stuff. So
yes, I miss a Casey's hot dog.
Casey's, yeah.
Oh man, we didn't. Well, I mean, we got the hot dog, but it was at a different restaurant. But Casey's is still cool.
You know what I'm dying to try? Actually, what I really want to try is those cheeseburger
the
spring rolls.
The spring rolls, yes.
Yeah. That sounds amazing.
They're good. I enjoy the pepperoni more than I make a better burger one at home. I make those at home for the wife, but I prefer the buffalo chicken one better.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to try and make.
We have a cookbook. It's on. Is it on my Instagram? There's a cookbook, a Disney cookbook, and it has all the recipes in it. We might have the same one.
Yeah, the unofficial
the black
Disney
one.
Yeah,
it's got a black cover. Yeah,
with gold writing.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it this week.
The spring rolls are in there. Yeah, you can try.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, we have to try.
Yeah.
I almost skipped this one. Favorite drink, and it could be water. It could be a bottled soda because I know you're sugar.
We've actually tried a few.
We really enjoyed. We don't call it a tea, but you guys call it a tea. Is at the with the Ronto wrap?
Yes.
We don't call it
the Tatooine one.
Yeah. Is it Tatooine Sunrise or?
Yes, I had that this year for the first time. Oh my god, so good.
It's really refreshing.
It's really refreshing. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I drink it quite quickly, so it's quite expensive to drink quite quickly.
It is, isn't it? I'm with you there.
Because I down drinks quite quickly, but but I also really enjoyed, and I'm really looking forward to going back and trying the blue milk. I know a lot of people. It's like they either love it or hate it.
I didn't try it.
Mix them.
I didn't get to try it.
You really need to give it a go. Yeah.
So we do drink alcohol, but I don't drink much because I have I take blood thinners, so I have to be really careful.
Oh, okay.
If I'm doing non-alcoholic, Ogre's Cantina has a drink called Cliff Dweller, which is really nice, really refreshing. But they've also got Trader Sam's cocktails and Trader Sam's, the Pearl and the Nautilus. We did a whole sharing of the Nautilus ship where they stick the cocktail in.
Yeah,
really, really nice. Mostly rum based. Where else? Jock Lindsay's as well. Great drinks at Jock Lindsay's. So I
heard Jock Lindsay's has a great pineapple cider that I need to try.
Oh wow, that sounds really nice.
That's what Sean said in last week's episode. A pineapple cider from Jack Lindsay's. I need to go.
I drink all the weird ones. I drink like toffee apple cider and all those over here. So I'd love to try pineapple cider. Yeah.
I like a good cider. Yeah, I do. I'm a beer guy, so leave me in Germany with a grapefruit beer and a pretzel. I'm happy. There's my two snacks.
Well, pretzel.
Favorite Disney movie?
Changes for me. My most recent favorite will be Moana. But my old favorite would be Fantasia. Because I studied it. I basically wrote a dissertation about it, and it's beautiful. I don't necessarily watch it very often, but it's one of my favorites that sticks with me.
My old favorite would have to be Robin Hood, the old Robin Hood one, with the fox. Yeah,
nice picks. Neither one of those picks I've had before. Those are great. I love Fantasia. My favorite Mickey in general is Sorcerer Mickey. It's Fantasia Mickey. I love it. He's there somewhere. Favorite Disney song could be from a movie, a TV show.
Oh, that's
And there's the
question. I'm going to be really cheesy, but one of my favorite Disney films, live action Disney films, is Mary Poppins.
Yep.
So Let's Go Fly a Kite from Mary Poppins
Nice.
literally make me weep like a
Same here.
yeah. So that I'd probably say let's go fly a kite.
Sorry, I mean, I'm going to get the name wrong as well. Is it Spiro? Spiro, the dragon? Spiro? At the end of that ride, when you're going through with the purple dragon, I can't even remember what his name is now.
Figment. How do you not remember Figment?
I didn't even know. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even know who Figment was until we went through the ride, which he took me on last time. I never even heard of this. But then that song at the end, because especially when I go back and watch the video, when I was editing,
Imagination.
That song is so catchy, and that's my favorite Disney song.
Listen, that's a great pick because everybody goes to movies. Everybody goes to that. Rob, I'm telling you, that was awesome. Figment is my. I changed shirts just for you guys. I put a Star Wars on. I have my Scrooge McDuck shirt on. That's why I was gonna go. Scrooge McDuck. Oh, I don't have it. See, and I have plenty of Figment mugs too, but I don't have it with me. Scrooge McDuck is my favorite Disney character. But I always say Figment is my favorite Disney Parks character.
Yeah,
I love Figment.
From that ride.
Leave the ride alone.
Your love for that character came from that ride.
Yes. Yeah. After riding that ride the first time, I love that music. I love that ride. I torture my children. My son is petrified. But it's a sensory thing with him. He hates going on it, but we torture, we block his ears and everything. But Dad's got to ride that. I love it.
I love the song at the end where you're coming through and his face is like the moon, and it's like it's a bit at the end, you know.
Yeah. Figment will be tattooed on me eventually. I have a few Mickeys, but Figment will be next. But last couple questions. I know we were supposed to go an hour.
We're going right over it, guys.
And these two questions are weird. If you could bring back one Disney ride, what would it be? And I know you've only been there since 2017, but I'm sure you know of. If you don't, if you can't answer it, no problem. Because
for me would be the studio tour. That would, because that's something I can remember seeing on television over here. So we used to get all the TV adverts. We'd get the holiday booking companies sending out catalogs and video cassettes, and I used to order them. No way could I be going, but I'd get them through the post, and I'd put in the old VHS. So for me, it would be that, because that used to pop up all the time.
I'm going to struggle on this one because it's weird because we've seen a few videos on YouTube that show some of the classic stuff, and they go back and talk about all the stuff that's been taken away and things like that. But I couldn't off the top of my head remember one that
you don't have the kind of history.
I usually, and I should have reworded that, but I usually go to Spectrum Magic, the nighttime parade.
Oh yeah,
that's one thing I wish they'd bring. Any nighttime parade.
The electric parade.
That was another one. Yep.
Yeah, I just love to see that in person.
And last question, and I love this question because it's happened to me a few times, but if there was one ride that you got stuck on and you literally cannot get off, Disney can't figure it out, you're going to be there for a few hours, which ride would you not mind being stuck on? And I'm talking about the ride is still going. It's music, it's everything, it's still going. And you are stuck on that ride for 3 hours instead of getting off after a minute and a half.
Rise of Resistance if we're stuck in the ATAP room. If we're stuck in the ATAP room with everything happening in there, that'll be awesome.
I'm going to say Expedition Everest again because I think it would be stuck up, really high with a nice view.
Okay, I think I'd pass out if I was stuck up there.
I was going to say, I've been stuck on a roller coaster once, years and years ago, and it's not a good thing.
I'm sure it's not.
There's no upside down on that one, but obviously there's danger of getting stuck in one of the tunnels, or that's the worst part. But if you've got a nice view, a nice day
next to Disco Yeti,
some sun cream to put on so you don't get burnt and stuff.
The answer we get a lot, and my answer as well, and I get it a lot, is Haunted Mansion. That and Pirates.
Yeah. We've been stuck on that a little bit, but not.
I just love the music in Haunted Mansion. You put me over by the heads singing.
I fell in love. So our first visit, I fell in love with Haunted Mansion, and now I've got loads of collectibles and prints and things. Right. I didn't think it would have that effect on me, and I just.
I have a couple pieces myself. I love Haunted Mansion. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Guys, again, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody in the chat. We had great numbers in here today. I appreciate it. A lot of great questions. There's still questions coming in, but we got to end the show eventually. Dennis, they have not rode Rise of the Resistance yet. So their next trip they will. But guys, Darren, Rob, thank you for coming here. I want to give you the screen now and to just promote your channel. Let everybody know where they can find you when your vlogs come out.
Yes. So if you want all things Disney, Star Wars, collecting, Disney parks, and things to do in London, hopefully, fingers crossed, please come and see us. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and we post on all three on a regular basis.
Yeah. I just want to say thanks for inviting us on. It's been really fantastic experience. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
No, thank you. Guys, if you don't mind, go over to This Our Dreams. Again, he's live from Disney Springs. I can hear him. He's on the TV, so the wife is watching us. we get the phone. You know, Jeff and Angela, they get the big screen. I'm gonna sign off now, but you guys don't go anywhere because we'll talk off stream. But I'm gonna sign off a way I haven't yet, and that's just for you. This is the room I was stuck in for 53 minutes.